that the government has released, and we're at the very end of the program, so
Right.
we're about 50 coins or so into this.
Okay.
This has kind of been the coin that everybody has gravitated to. And it's because of the design and, of course, what it represents. So America's national parks and national historic areas is what have been on the national parks quarters. Every single state in the union and all of the territories are represented. Guam, of course, is the United States government issue territory. And so they did this, and of course Guam is one of the most famous battles of World War II, significant, a linchpin battle for the war in the Pacific. And so today, there is the American Memorial Park that they have on Guam that honors all those servicemen that gave, paid the ultimate price for our freedom. And so this coin has really drawn so many people, into the program. And so when we have this, and we have a few of these early discovery American Memorial Parks, and this one kind of came late to the game. This was one of the very difficult coins to get, because there was also one from the Northern Mariana Islands, which was called the War in the Pacific. Okay. There's also a memorial there, the War in the Pacific from the Northern Mariana Islands, which were staging islands for the United States war effort in World War II. Guam, of course, was a massive battle as well. And so everybody being drawn very much to this coin. You can see U.S. servicemen right there, fighting the Battle of Guam with America's Memorial Park on Guam. This coin is released to commemorate that. This is done in the 5-ounce silver coin. Has been the best-selling 5-ounce silver coin, I think, in the entire series that you have. As a matter of fact, it may currently be on back order from the United States Mint, but I have it in Mint State 67. Remember, this is that W or West Point minted quarter again from the Great American Treasure Hunt. You cannot buy these coins individually. You have to get them out of circulation. Now, the early discovery period on this has long passed. Okay, so these are only coins that I have got in circulation, or I've had in inventory, is the only way to do it. Same situation, I've got the coin in Mint State 66. Nice. I've got a very, very